What's up, everybody, and welcome to the pre-Christmas edition of Hump Day Hangouts. It's Marco from Semantic Mastery, and my partner is wishing you the best of what the season has to offer. And even if you don't celebrate it, we still want you to have a fantastic fucking time regardless, man. And so, with that, I am going to call on you as I see you. Oh, there we are. There's Adam. He's usually driving this wreck. I'm just gonna continue, man. We're glad to have you here. We're glad you're supporting Semantic Master. We're glad you've been supporting us all this time. I see lots of you who have been with us. Seems like forever since we began. I am going to call on you from right to left on my screen, and so that means that you're up, Adam. What's up,
All right.
man? Merry pre-Christmas.
Hey, likewise. Glad to see everyone. Marco, I'm glad you've got some holiday cheer. I'm not sure what's wrong with Chris or not and Bradley. No, nothing. You guys? There we go, Chris.
It's a Christmas tradition, man. We
Yeah. You guys
let
Yeah,
let our hair down, but
I
we're
was I
literally
was
not.
working and like cutting it close, and I didn't have time to run downstairs and get my hat until I saw Marco's, and I was like, "Oh man!" So my bad.
Well, that's all right. We're here for Hump Day Hangouts. Yeah, things are going good here. Had blue skies and made it out for running the hills this morning and back for Hump Day Hangouts, and then gonna be having a couple day drinks.
Hills.
Running the hills.
Yes. Wink, wink. This time it actually was, but maybe I should have done the other thing. Now I'm pretty sore. So, anyways, I can't complain, man. I'm happy to be here. Yeah, that's it from my end.
Thanks, Adam. Then I next saw Hernan coming on. What's up, man? Catch us up. Let us
Yeah,
know what's
good,
happening.
good. Everything is good, man. Everything is good. Happy to be here as usual. Happy to, spend some time with the family. Usually, we do the 24th 9 and then the 25th, and we keep on eating up until, I don't know, up until the 7th of January. So it's good, man. Everything is good. I'm happy to be here.
Cool. Bradley, what's up, man?
So man, happy to be here. Got shit ton of work going on, man. It's crazy, but I can't even slow down for the holidays much. I am taking some time off between or next week for the New Year's holiday though. But looking forward to Christmas. I had a bunch of family in town that just actually left this morning. They spent 4 or 5 days here in town, which was really cool. Got all my daughter and all her cousins together, and it was a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward for 2021 though. Hopefully it will be better than 2020.
It has to be, right? And then Chris, what's up, man?
Yeah, doing good here. Forgot my hat, but at least I found something to keep the spirit up. Other than that, yeah, things are good. Unfortunately, no snow, it seems, this year here in where I'm living. The west is like tons of snow, but yeah, it is what it is. And yeah, looking forward to like the holidays. I actually will take some time off starting tomorrow for I don't know, pretty much the weekend, 4 days. Take a bit of a time out and relax, and then back to work. So yeah.
Fantastic, man. As for me, what can I say? Don't hate me. Don't hate the player. Hate the game. Because it's the game that allows me to do I do. Anyway, glad to have you. We are running an MGYB special. For those of you who don't know, so Adam, please drop the page on there. Santa is giving people an early Christmas present. Everything, I believe, everything is got a coupon on it. So Merry fucking Christmas. And with that, unless anybody has other announcements, oh yeah, charity webinars. I'm sorry, the charity webinars. We are going to be starting them in about 2 weeks. They're a little bit delayed because I'm trying to get all of the people together. Dixon Jones of Thnx has decided to come in and donate his time, which is fantastic because he's going to be talking about content and entities. He's the guy. He started out as the marketing, I believe, manager or whatever he was at Majestic when it was really cool. And then he left, and now he has Thnx, which is a fabulous tool that we're using every day for our content. And the only way that you get access to him is through our webinars, where you can come and ask him anything you want, listen to his presentation on entities. knocked me for a loop when I talked to him. And so it's what Jordan based his training around, or one of the tools. And so he's going to be there. I got Mike Pierce coming on. Jordan Fowler is going to talk about branding and entities, and how to guide the bot through all that. So we got some fantastic things we're putting together, but it's taking time because it's so good. So many people, so many things that we're giving away. And all it takes is a donation. And I'm going to say it again. Your heart will tell you whether you donate, and your wallet will dictate how much. So if all you can give my kids is $5, what you would have spent on that cup of coffee, that's fine. And if it's $500, then that's fine also. I mean, they both will get you into the webinar. And in fact, the more you donate, the closer that you get to spending an hour with me on whatever you want. Ask Marco anything. We can go over any of your projects. We can go over anything. It's up to you. And so that's what we're having. That's what we're doing. I will announce it more formally. And if you guys want to donate, just send, and I'll put the email in the chat, the email that you send proof of donation to, so that you can get notified for when the webinars start. So you will be placed on the mailing list. When you donate, send the proof that you've donated, and then you will be put on our email list, and we will contact you with the email dates, how to register, how to sign up, how to get access. You're going to get access to the replays. You're going to get everything. And with that, let's do this.
Any other announcements?
Be good.
Hump's the word. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
All right. Very good. You can grab the screen. Okay. Y'all see my screen, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we got it.
All right. So it looks like the first question comes from Timmy. What's your thoughts on social signals? Obviously, ones from real accounts that are topically relevant to support SEO to the money site. If so, any good vendors? I mean, yes, social signals are, I assume they're good. If they're from relevant audiences, real people that are engaging with the content, then I think those are great for SEO. It's the spam signals that we think are worthless. And it's been a long time since I've done any testing, but I can't imagine that 3 or 4 years ago, when I did a lot of testing on social signals, just spam social signals that you would purchase from, Fiverr or any number of providers. And they really didn't move the needle at all for SEO. And again, that had to be 4 years ago now. And I can't imagine that all of a sudden social signals, like spammy signals, would be weighted any heavier than they were 4 years ago. So I can't imagine that they actually do anything. But real relevant signals from, active users, you got to think about what's happening when somebody is engaging in a content, liking, like chances are they have a history of being interested in that content, or even if it's not a long-term history, in recent history. And those are good signals, because trust me, Google has a profile of that person, right? Like, in other words, it has an idea of that user, that Google user, web user, whatever you want to call them, that shows their recent search history, the type of, what their affinities are, which means like what their long-term likes are, what they've recently been engaging with, and all that kind of stuff. So if somebody in that, a real user that has a real profile, real history, and they engage with your content, that's a really good signal, because it's highly weighted. Remember, Google has access to the same kind of data now that Facebook does, like behavioral interests and all that kind of stuff. So when a user engages on content, if Google can kind of weight that engagement signal, I don't have any like hard data to show that, but from the type of traffic that I've been purchasing from Google audiences and such, it's just logical that would be weighted. I don't know, Marco, what do you think?
Activity, relevance, trust, and authority, right? Google, now the social, John Mueller said that Google doesn't pay attention to social signals.
Bullshit.
And that's partially, bullshit, but partially correct. Because there's no such thing as a social signal. You don't stand there with a beacon, right? With a flashlight, with a with that flare gun signaling, and hey, look what I'm doing. The signal that you're sending is through those pixels. It's through those links. It's through the people coming through your analytics and search console, right? Because you see the activity there, whether they're relevant and whether they're coming from trusted authoritative sources. Google is tracking everything. If you're setting goals in your analytics, then Google is further tracking, because now you can guide Google on what it is that you're expecting your visitors to do on your website. It's a lot of things that you can now set up so that you send additional signals to Google. So Google is tracking wherever that person is coming from. And we'll just use Facebook as an example. You're running Facebook ads, and maybe the conversion is on your website. Or maybe it's not on the ad, or maybe you just want to pixel that person. Maybe you're forming on some type of audience. Affinity audiences also in YouTube. All of the different things that you can do, where the relevance is, as Bradley said, the people's history. What are their interests? Because if you're buying signals, these people are going to be going all over the place. They're going to be going. It's not a real history, like a real user, where you have an affinity when you're online. Whether you're a Facebook person, an Instagram person, a Twitter person, whatever you are, you have an affinity. Whether it's gaming, whether it's educational, whether you consume information, whatever it is. And so when that person comes through that link, believe me when I tell you that Google's going to know anything and everything there is to know about that person, unless you just don't go online, unless you don't have everything set up the way that we tell you to. So how do you get those people? Well, pay for them. Pay Google. Don't go paying a vendor for that. Pay Facebook, pay Google through YouTube, pay Twitter, pay Instagram, pay Pinterest. Because what you're going to do is, especially now through AI, is you're going to be able to fine tune your audience to that particular interest, to that relevance, so that the further you go in, the likelier is that this person is going to convert. Because now what you're doing is you're finding that person with that problem, with that pain, and you become a problem solver. You're solving the problem that person came online for. And maybe they didn't even know that they had a pain or a problem to solve, but you did such a good job of putting yourself in front of them that they decided, okay, I'm going to go purchase this because it's something that I need, that I realize that I need. And that signal, I mean, I don't care how many you get from any vendor, that signal that you're paying for, and it's pennies on the dollar, so $100 a month, and it's gold. That's worth more than anything you can get. And let me finish why. Because that vendor, those people that vendor sends to you, they're not going to convert. The value is only going to be temporary, and maybe they'll pick up enough, or they'll send enough signals so that Google sends you real people. But why not start with real people in the first place?
Yeah, and let me unpause the screen for a minute because I pulled up. Okay. So while Marco was talking, this is just to demonstrate what I was talking about, guys. This is Google Analytics. This is for semantic mastery. And if you go into audience, now you have to have the advanced data collection, whatever, enabled in your analytics account. And switching over to GA4 now, Google Analytics 4, like all of that is so much more data that you get with the Google Analytics 4 as opposed to Universal Analytics. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at was what we were just talking about, guys, and this is proof of it here. So this is a month of traffic, or the traffic that has come to semanticmastery.com, our website, in the last month. If you go into audience and you look at interests, you can see these are the affinity audiences, right? Affinity means long-term, like an interest, a long-term interest. They have an affinity for, right? And so these are the affinity audiences that have visited our site in the last month. And then these are the in-market segments. In-market segments means within the last 30 days, they have been searching for content and engaging with, consuming, doing searches around keywords that are all relevant to, or that means they're likely in the market for whatever, a product or a service. And you can see Business services, advertising and marketing services is our top in-market audience. Makes sense. There are some subsets of that or subcategories, SEO and SEM services, business services, business technology, web services, web design and development. It makes sense that our top 3 in-market audiences or visitors were in these, the most of our visitors, excuse me, I'm trying to explain this. The most of our visitors that have come, the top 3 in-market audiences that they're in are business services, right? Or subcategories of business in-market audience, business services, right? And that makes a lot of sense because of what our content's about. And then there's other categories as well. But this just goes to show you that it's very, Google has a hell of a lot more data than what they used to have from visitors. And you can see that in analytics so that you can start to optimize your content for that. Or this can even give you some ideas as to which type of audiences to target if you're purchasing traffic directly from Google for YouTube, display, whatever. Somebody want to comment on that? Okay, thought I heard somebody. And also the other thing is, here's an example. I just showed this a couple days ago of some traffic just from YouTube. And this is what, Marco was saying, if you can buy really inexpensive, I know we were talking about social signals originally, but talking about generating traffic signals. Remember, activity, relevance, trust, and authority. And these are in market. Well, these different various audience types here, but these are YouTube ads that I'm running. And you can see that I just selected an IM stands for in market audience, home and garden services. This is for a landscaping and tree service company. And I'm running YouTube ads for them. And you can see that my cost per click, this isn't per view. The average cost per view is 9 cents. I used to talk about using YouTube for more for branding, for gaining views, but I'm getting a hell of a lot better at actually driving traffic to local clients now using YouTube ads. And look at the clicks, $1.66 per click, average cost per click from a very relevant audience, right? In market, home and garden services. So those 83 clicks are highly weighted clicks because they're coming from audiences that Google has determined are in market for home and garden services. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't care about Facebook likes, shares, tweets, and all that kind of stuff if it's just spam. If it's from a relevant, in fact, it's nice to get them from a relevant, so social signals from a relevant audience. So somebody that is really truly engaging with the content, that's great. But that's harder to spam or to spoof. It's almost, it's very difficult to. But you can purchase relevant traffic signals directly from Google or Facebook or many of these different social platforms that also offer advertising services, right? And so the point is if you're buying relevant traffic signals, right, or engagement, traffic and engagement signals from a relevant audience, it's likely that they may end up liking, tweeting, sharing, whatever anyway, because they were a relevant audience to begin with. So my point, like what Marco was saying, I totally agree with. It's better to just go with this type of traffic, and you'll likely get natural, organic social signals from that. Okay. It's a great question, though. Moving on. Do I know of any good vendors? Not really. I think SEO Butler has some, at least they used to be called SEO Butler. I'm not sure if they still are, but I know that they had some tiered social signals that apparently, or from what I understand, worked pretty good, but I don't know that those are still relevant because, again, I haven't done any significant testing on just social signals in several years. Great question, though. All right, next question is from Rocket Blaster. He says, I watched one of your videos on silos, and it seems like that can really help you to rank with all the pages and links, etc. But you said you only use GMB free sites now, and that's a one-page website. No, I might have in that one particular video. There was a period of time where I was just building GMB assets without self-hosted WordPress or self-hosted sites as part of the projects. For a period of months, that's all I was doing. And I was just using the GMB websites. I'm not doing near as many GMBs now because it's much more difficult to get them. Number one, number two, they're much easier to get suspended now also. So I am working with self-hosted sites now again. So I just want to clarify that I am using self-hosted sites as the primary website for each project that I'm working on now. Even if it has a GMB, the primary website is the self-hosted site. But you don't have, I mean, again, you can use a self-hosted site, you can use a Google site, so sites.google.com, or the actual GMB website. Even though it's one page, you still can silo those. Can't talk about how to do that here because we cover that in local GMB Pro or in the Mastermind or in RYS Academy, pretty much any one of our paid groups. But you can silo a GMB website.
Yeah. You can silo anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure as hell.
And as far as that, like we have 2 case studies going. One is HVAC and another one, well, I'm not gonna say what it is, free, but they're both being shared in the Heavy Hitter Club, heavyhitter.club. And so if you want more guidance on this, on how it's done, on how to set up the GMB, on how to silo the GMB, and how everything now works together. I've always said that local is relative. And so I'm taking that and applying it now to a national build where there is a GMB, but the GMB, of course, is a service area, and the service area is the US. And we're using that. I'm using the hell out of it and getting fantastic results. Again, well, Monday we'll have a Heavy Hitter Club webinar where I'm going to be covering that. Rob is going to be covering the HVAC, the case study. And we're going to be showing that. And you can totally take that one-page site and silo it because of the way that Google saves the posts.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, you know, we talk about like siloing press releases as well, and you can go watch the free webinar on our YouTube channel where we talk about press release SEO or press PR silo stacking. It's the same webinar, but we talk about that. So you can silo press releases, right? You can silo a GMB website. You can silo a regular website. You can silo a gsite. So it's all about, you know, theme mirroring, and that's what we talk about. And so you can still do it with a GMB website. So he goes, what do you put all of your information on that one page? There's a limit to how much content you can put onto a GMB website. Because in a recent project, I actually reached that limit, and it's kind of weird because you can add, like, it doesn't tell you can't add more. Like, it doesn't say you've added too much content if you paste a bunch of text onto the GMB website, but when you publish it, it will, whatever that limit is, it will just cut it off at the bottom, the text at the bottom, and it'll just put a little like greater than sign at the bottom. It's weird. But anyways, yeah, I mean, what I typically do is it depends on how many pages, like if there's multiple silos on the money site, for example, or if you were just going to use a GMB website instead of a money site, I try to list, you know, a couple of paragraphs about the main products or services that the business offers, right? So I would put section headers, even though you can't edit the SEO elements of the page on a GMB website, you can still bold things, and you can, you know, add spacing and line breaks and things like that, so that it's easier for the reader, but it also is more logical in the content structure itself. So, but you can also do outbound linking from the GMB website. So, you know, you can think about using strategic anchor text links within the GMB website to some of the other assets in your tier 1, you know, entity assets, essentially. So you can link out to those too. So there's a lot of stuff that you can do with GMB websites. You don't have to have a self-hosted site, but the other thing I would always recommend is, even if you're just planning on using GMB stuff, you're still going to want, I mean, you absolutely should still get a Google site and an SEO, so as part of the SEO shield. So why not make the Google site your primary money site for the asset? If you don't want to use self-hosted sites, fine, use a Google site. I still think that's better than just using the GMB website, although you can get significant results with just a GMB website. We've proven that. So also some good questions. Pavlo's up. He says, is there any content we can automate for the gsite to keep it fresh? Marco, I know he says it's for you, but I'm going to give a couple suggestions first, and then you can take that one as well. So Pavlo, yeah, you can think about iframing a blog roll page in to a gsite, right? Or you could get more specific, and you can, you know, in theme mirroring, and I can't get too much into this, but you could get more specific and You could use your Word, you know, I'm just assuming you're using WordPress, but let's just make that assumption. But you remember with WordPress, if you use tags properly, you've also got tag pages. So you could iframe tag pages into the gsite. Same thing goes for categories, right? Category pages, which are like blog roll pages for specific categories. The same thing with tag pages, right? It's for it'll list all of the posts that or pages, if you add tags to pages, that share that tag. So think about using iframes to automate, from a dynamic content source like a WordPress site to auto update gsites. And again, that's all iframe stuff. Also RSS feeds. Remember, you can embed an RSS feed using the FeedBurner BuzzBoost embed code. So you create the BuzzBoost embed code using FeedBurner, and then you can use your blog RSS feed or your tag pages. Remember, each tag has its own RSS feed. Each category has its own RSS feed. So you can burn different feeds and then use the BuzzBoost embed code to also automate, dynamic content onto a gsite. Marco, you want to take that one?
Yeah, people forget, right? And I don't know if he's in RYS Academy Reloaded, but the entire foundation behind RYS and RYS Academy Reloaded is iframe and the way that iframes work. And with that, that's enough to go and do whatever it is that you need to do, because we've ranked and outranked people with their own content using the iframe method. So the gsite will outrank. We've outranked brands, as a matter of fact, using their iframe. So people forget the original training, the foundational principles are iframes. Why do you think our dry stacks and gsites look the way they do?
That's right. All right. So the next question was, is it a good idea to create separate gsites or stacks focused around specific keyword groups, like an EMD, as part of a larger drive stack?
Yes, I mean that's exactly what we teach. You create the branded gsite and drive stack. That's part of your SEO shield anyway. Once that's created, as Google starts giving you your keyword targets, we call those extensions. You go to mgyb.co and order an extension for whatever it is that you're doing. That one is going to be, it can be location and keyword focus or just keyword focus. So if you have multiple locations, you would want to relate the keywords to those multiple locations. And if not, then you would want to just isolate that keyword in that stack, treating it like a silo. So we go back to siloing and how important siloing is. People have said, and I can't believe they're saying this, that siloing doesn't matter anymore. They're calling it something else, and not understanding the basic foundations of what a bot does when it comes onto a page and when it follows the links that lead from that page to another page, especially when the content is relevant. And siloing is working just as well today as when, I don't know if Bruce Clay is the one who coined the phrase siloing, or whoever it was that came up with that. It's still as relevant, maybe more relevant today because of the way that AI is focusing on entities and relevance.
Yep, I agree. Semantic relevance. So just to clarify, Pablo, it's not about creating separate gsites or stacks, right? Or it's about expanding a stack. Does that make sense? And siloing or theme mirroring within your stack and your gsite. That's the preferred method, because remember, you're powering up that gsite and that entity, that brand. And so instead of having separate entities, which is kind of like what you would do if you had separate gsites and separate stacks, if they're related or relevant, there's some sort of connection between topics or services or whatever, then it's better to have it all underneath one brand, because then, as you continue to power up that entity, every time you add another expansion, so like another silo, essentially, it's going to instantly benefit from the authority that's already accrued to the main entity. Does that make sense? So it's way better off. Otherwise, you're starting over from square one with each new stack or each new gsite. So you're better off, taking advantage of the authority that you're building to your primary brand. That's why we teach it that way. Jay says, in one of your old videos, I heard Marco mention something called the golden frame. Can you elaborate a bit more about this? Yeah, it's just your money site, whatever your primary asset is for the brand or for the entity, your golden frame, your epicenter, right? Ground zero, so to speak. And typically that is a self-hosted site, but it doesn't have to be. It's whatever your primary digital asset is for your brand or your entity. Marky, you want to comment on that? He was asking about what the golden frame is.
Yeah, I know, but I can't. I'm trying to remember where and in which video I mentioned that, because when we talk golden frame, it's simply the money site, whatever that may be, right? Whether you're using a gsite, a GMB, or whatever, WordPress, it can be HTML, it can be whatever, and then everything that surrounds that is part of that entity and that brand, but directly related. So your Facebook, your Twitter, all of your branded profiles then become part of that golden frame. That's what we call the golden frame. Why is it the golden frame? Because that's where you're going to be making money, especially when you start running ads in Facebook. And as I said, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, anywhere where your audience resides and where you can target them to sell to them. You shouldn't get a profile just for the sake of branding. Your profile should be created with the idea that it's going to make you money somehow. It's going to help you make money. Otherwise, then it's just a link, right? It's just part of a PBN, a public blog network that's yours, that you're claiming for Google, and that really isn't doing anything. Well, it is. It's reinforcing your entity. It's validating the entity. It's solidifying the entity, but it should be making you money. And you should always focus on how you brand it and how you create all of these entity relationships so that it actually amplifies. And if someone clicks out at tier 2, right, say something is linking from tier 2 to your tier 1 branded, it actually brings that tier 2 link a step closer. So I call it a de facto tier 1 or tier 1B, if you want to look at it, because of the way that Google applies the distance graph, or how many hops you are away from trusted and authoritative sources.
So the next question was also, as you guys use RYS stacks for lots of stuff, is there a way to back up all of this in case Google shuts the account down? That's a great question. Maybe Marco has an answer. The only way I know how to it would be to download everything, which you could, I guess, download it regularly. That way, in case the account gets shut down, you could still upload them to a new Google account. But you'd have to convert files, because I don't think you can download like a Google sheet, for example, or a Google Doc as it is. I think you'd have to download it as like a Word file or something, or an Excel file or CSV file or something like that, so that it would be available to upload to a Drive account if it were to get, the original were to get terminated. Marco, is there anything that we do for backups?
I think we shared a script where you can clone your Drive stack. And if you can clone it, but we also, I mean, come on, I don't know how much I can give away here, because now we're going into Rank Your Shit Academy secrets. We gave you a script. We showed you how to clone it. We showed you what to do with the folder so that you don't lose it, right? If you've ordered Drive stacks and gsites from us, you get instructions on what to do with that Drive stack and gsite, so you never again have to go into it and lose access to it. Right? So you don't ever get tagged for whatever, maybe the IP or whatever. But you can still go in there as a manager, but never again as the owner. I mean, you leave that alone. If you need access at some future point, it's done through the manager, not necessarily the owner. We tell you exactly what to do when you order that from us, and it's information that is also in RYS Academy Reloaded. The scripts are in RYS Academy Reloaded. That's how you would do it. That's how you would back it up.
Very good. Okay, so the next one is from Marty. He says, "Hey SM, this one's for Bradley. Going to follow your advice and get a VA to curate content for my lead gen properties. Would you have any good examples of curated content for an SEO or digital service agency website?" Is this type of content only suited for lead gen, or can agency sites use it too? No. Okay. So listen, the best thing to do, Marty, would be to just go get Content Kingpin. I don't know if we have any 12 days of Christmas specials going on for that or not, but Content Kingpin is the exact process that I use and have been since 2012. So we're going on, what, 9 years now that I've been using that exact same content strategy. I've trained all my bloggers to do that. And it doesn't matter what industry it's for. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't know that I would do it for the legal or the medical industries because there's so many regulations and such. But for a digital marketing agency, like for content for your own agency, absolutely. And I use it for all of my clients too. We do curated content for all of my clients. I don't have any examples to show you specifically for curated content for agency type of content, but the format, the process is all the same, right? It's all the same. There's nothing different about it. So I would highly recommend that you go get Content Kingpin, because that is exactly the process that we've used for years now to generate content. Last thing is I brought this up. I think I deleted the website though. Yeah. And it's not actually been suspended. I deleted that subdomain. I could probably recover it. I was going to show you some examples here of, see, look, a lot of these pages are still indexed. That's interesting. Yeah. I could restore that site. I probably should, because this was always used as a, years ago when during the Semantic Mastery Masterclass, which was a kind of mid-level coaching group that we had, I did this Gainesville Home Pros local SEO project. And we used, my primary blogger, Esther, she still works for me today. This was back in 5 or 6 years ago that I built this damn site. I'll have to restore it so that it can be used as an example. But there was curated content on that. You could even probably go to the Wayback Machine and take a look at it. I'm sure you could. You could go to the Wayback Machine, so archive.org, and go look up that URL, gainesvilleva.localhomepros.net, and you could see curated content on that page. But again, if you pick up local Kingpin, you're going to have all of the training for exactly how we set up curated content machine, and VAs manage all of that for me. It's a fantastic product. It's still the same exact process that I use today.
I just put a VA. Well, she started a couple of months ago. I wanted her to, not only to curate, but to work with Jordan's, the way that Jordan taught content at Popeful Live, right? But the very first thing that I had her do was go through Content Kingpin. The very first thing, without question, go and learn how to curate content. And then we'll go and because that's the foundation. Now she can produce content whenever I need, right? Curated content real quick. In under an hour, she has just a fantastic piece of content. If I need more content, then she just goes and curates some more. But that's the foundation, man. I keep telling people, whatever it is that we share with you, we use it on our own stuff, on our own clients, on whatever it is that we're setting up. We use it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just trying to see if I could find, I should just restore the site. I was in my host just cleaning stuff up, and I accidentally deleted that site. So anyways, I was trying to pull it up just to give you an example. Okay, here you go. So yeah, again, gainesvilleva.localhomepros.net. And you can go through here, and I believe you can click through to the pages, and then or to the blog, and then you should be able to take a look at, I guess some of the images don't carry over in archive. Maybe they don't cache those, but you can, yeah, they do. Sure they do. So there you go. That's curated content right there, guys. And this exact same process that I talk about. And by the way, because let's take a look real quick. Home remodeling, Gainesville, VA. I haven't touched this project in 6 years. Still number 2 in maps. The site has been dead, Marco, for God knows at least a year. You saw archive.org, and look at it. It's still number 2 in maps. That's insane. So anyways, yeah, go use that as kind of an example if you want to try to reverse engineer. But to be honest with you, just go pick up Content Kingpin. It'll be worth your money, I promise. Moving on. Okay, I'm going to build out a real estate brokerage site using the SEO Bootcamp theme because it is ideal for on-page SEO. You're right about that. Do you have a company or system you can recommend to make the website look good? You mean like a design company? Shit. Adam, do you have any ideas of like, I know because you deal with funnel builders and stuff all the time. Do you have any recommendations for a design company for?
Well, I mean, I have a recommendation, but it depends on your budget.
Yeah, go for it, Marco. I got some ideas, but no particular recommendations.
Okay.
I mean, again, it's not cheap, but look up Moon and Owl Marketing. Moon and Owl, MONANDOWL. Contact them and ask for a quote. Best in the business.
Definitely. Yeah. And if I would just say if they're looking for more of a, get something quick, if you know enough that you can kind of manage someone, you can find people who do this. Just make sure, you do your background research and look at some stuff they've built, have them show you a few things. And I mean, there's a ton of people out there who can put together really good WordPress sites. So,
yeah. Yeah. And there's a lot of companies out there now that will do that, like on a monthly retainer. And they'll build sites for you and all kinds of stuff, like design stuff. Like it's crazy. So you can kind of look up for some of those too. So, okay. Yeah. Cause typically if I have like I just build normal, like WordPress sites that were theme-based sites. And if I need anything beyond my crude design skills, then I just hire somebody from Upwork or something to do what I need. So, anyway. All right. So next is I'm working with a company which is plugins for IDX and home valuations. I just need to make the homepage look good. Okay. Yeah. And again, maybe you just would here. Another option would be to there's a lot of like funnel builders and funnel designers out there that can create like a homepage, like a one page, like long type homepage type thing that you could use as a homepage. And then you could have the rest of the site, on a traditional WordPress, framework that is a lot easier to manage because it would just be a particular theme or whatever. But if you're looking for custom design for just the homepage, a lot of times you could do that with a funnel builder or hire somebody as a funnel designer that will do a one page, like homepage version of a funnel that will work really, really well. And those I know you can get for fairly inexpensive. In fact, you could even go to like ClickFunnels Marketplace, for example, and there's other marketplaces out there that for Groove Funnels and all those different kind of funnel. I mean, funnel builders are a dime a dozen now, but many of them now have marketplaces where you can go look at pre-built designs that you can purchase, or you can even contact the designers that are selling pre-built funnels in the marketplace and ask them to build you a custom funnel or landing page or whatever. Okay. But also remember, that's just a landing page. If you just need the front page done, it's just a landing page. And then you can go to Upwork and find landing page builders, from all over the world and they show a portfolio of their work and all that kind of stuff. And that's what I do. I just go to Upwork and hire landing page builders when I need something specific done.
I mean, that's what I was going to say. If it's on a budget, go to Upwork.
Yeah. Next question. I already have subscribed to a service for press releases. I have to untold those press releases before I guess unload. I have to unload those press releases before I can switch over to Press Advantage. How do I get the best SEO results? Maybe backlinking with my current, or how to utilize. Okay, I see what he's saying. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because it depends on, I don't know which service you're using. And I know it depends. I've had problems with some of the press release distribution services in the past where they inflate their distribution numbers by using a bunch of really shitty sites that end up looking toxic or becoming toxic. And they're not. It depends on what it is. I don't know which network you're using or distribution service you're using. I would recommend that you don't use press releases to link directly to your money site if you're not sure of the sites in the distribution network. Like if you just don't know how clean they are or spammy they may be, you're better off linking to tier 1 entity assets from within press releases as opposed directly to your money site. So what I mean by that is your SEO Shield assets, syndication network properties, GMB properties, that kind of stuff. You use those as your target URLs within the press release. or press releases instead of linking directly to your money site. And then, yeah, you can just hammer the shit out of those press releases with backlinks. And that's a great way to do it. It's better to try to select press releases that have do follow links, but that's not necessary. You don't have to do that, but if you can identify which press releases don't purge, like in other words, they're not deleted after 90 days or whatever, but also contain do follow links. If you can do that, then those would be the ones that you would use as target URLs for a link building campaign. Comments on that?
Yeah, we love Press Advantage. We love Jeremy. There's a reason why his press releases work so well. I mean, we talk to him constantly, and he's constantly making improvements, and he's constantly giving us virtually everything that we ask for to get the best SEO value out of the press releases. But it's not only that. I mean, he has a good press release network. It's not really just garbage sites like a lot of press release companies have. So without knowing who it is that you're using, and I don't want to know because I don't want to put anybody down. I don't want anybody getting trashed on here. Without knowing who your press release service is and what they're doing, like I can't tell you what effect link building is going to have on that. I can't tell you whether you should get embed. I can't really say because I don't know how much power you're pushing. I know the power that you can get from Press Advantage, and then Dedia knows exactly what to do when we turn over that press release report. Because this is like my MO, right? When I get a press release, I get the PDF, I give it to Dedia, I say hit it, and he knows what to do. He will do the same thing for you guys.
Yep. All right, we got to be in here somewhere. There it is, right there. All right, so this was the other thing is just go to YouTube and search press release SEO. You'll find our video about, I don't know, halfway down the page or whatever. Or you can just go to our channel, so semanticmastery.com or youtube.com/semanticmastery, and then just click the right here, which is the channel search feature, and type in press release SEO. And you'll see that it pops right up. It's the first video. I would watch that. It talks about how we use silos or how we silo press releases and then stack them. It follows our theme mirroring methodology, so it works really, really well. And I would recommend that's how you start siloing your press releases together too. I don't care what distribution company you're using, even if they're spammy. If you're linking to tier 1 entity assets as your target URL from your press release silo, as opposed to your money site, then you can still power that up by doing press release silos. And that's a great way to do it. Even if they're spammy, if you're never linking directly from the press release to your money site, you've got nothing to worry about. Okay. All right, moving on. Next one is I am in a full-time job and I don't want to deal with clients as of now. I want to create a YouTube channel that I want to monetize with Adsense primarily and affiliate links. Which course would you recommend? I don't know about Adsense stuff, but I know for YouTube and affiliate stuff, my go-to source for training, and I've learned a lot from him over the years, is Justin Sardi. That's pretty much all he teaches is YouTube ads for affiliate marketers, right? So he talks about creating a YouTube channel, and then he talks about using ads for affiliate offers. But in his training, he also talks about how to, and it's justinsardi.com right there. I'm sure you can find his training in here, and you could reach out to him or whatever. He's got a free webinar. He's got great stuff. Justin's hands down the best that I know of for YouTube ad stuff, especially for affiliate marketers. I learned about YouTube ads and started using YouTube ads because of Justin. Although he doesn't teach anything about local, he has in the past a little bit, but that's not his thing, right? His thing is affiliate marketing using YouTube ads as the primary driver of traffic. And again, he's got some really, really good training on that. I've since started finding others that teach about local lead gen lead generation for using YouTube ads. But this is really, really good for affiliate stuff. And by the way, he also is the co-developer of TubeSift, which is a fantastic tool for YouTube ads for targeting for finding placements, doing keyword research, all kinds of stuff. And he's the co-developer with Ted Chen, who created Power Suggest Pro. So it's a great tool. I highly recommend that. And in fact, if you purchase some of his training, depending on what level you buy from Justin Sardi, a lot of times he'll throw in, TubeSift for a year or for 3 months or whatever, depending on what training program you buy. So I would highly recommend that you check out Justin Sardi. Anybody else have any recommendations for that?
No, sir.
Okay, BB's up, and this is the real BB, not the too many questions BB. He says, hey guys, number one, about Marco's PR stack system, is the links in the PRs point to the ifttt ring profiles pages, or is it just the syndicated posts within the silo? It depends on what you're trying to do, BB.
Yeah, but hang on a second. He keeps asking it and trying to get more information or more clarification on something that's actually paid training. People have paid a lot for local PR Pro. And if we keep giving information for free, it's a disservice to the people who have paid for the course. I think we've mentioned it enough. I am not going to get into how I do my PR stacking. I've said enough. You link them one to the other. That's one link. The other one goes wherever you need it to go. You need to have the data for where it is that you're going to need it to go. And I'm not going to say anything else about that. I'm not going to clarify. I'm not going to add anything to it. If you want the how, then that's in the paid training.
Yeah, join Heavy Hitter Club, baby. I mean, that's way less expensive than Semantic Mastery, the mastermind. I mean, or paying, but I would recommend joining the Heavy Hitter Club, because those are where you get all these types of questions, and like you'll see real live examples, or draw out diagrams, like all that kind of stuff. That's what that's for. But yeah, I mean, and again, BB, it depends on what you're trying to power up. So you have to know where you're trying to push power, and that's where you select where what your target URLs are going to be. Okay. Please give your thoughts on this saying SEO generally is for everything, and paid ads is for high ticket items and branding only. I call bullshit on that. I mean, I generate leads using paid ads a lot. I don't know that, technically those are high ticket items, right? So if I'm generating, like, let's say I sell tree service leads at $40 a piece, right? Well, I can generate tree service leads using Google Ads, right? And so that's not $40 lead is not high ticket for me. It might be for the tree service contractor that buys the lead from me for $40. It might be a high ticket lead that he buys, but $40 is kind of a low purchase price in my opinion. And I use ads. I use SEO for that and ads. So I don't know who said that statement or where you read that statement, but if you know how to use ads correctly, it's not just about for branding and high ticket items. You can do all kinds of stuff. Again, I just talked about Justin Sardi with affiliate marketing, and it's crazy. But at Facebook, I'm in several of his Facebook groups, and he teaches. I mean, there's all the time people in there posting screenshots from their ads account showing, conversions at cost per conversions on sales of affiliate products, for like sometimes under a few bucks, and they're selling these affiliate products. So that's cost per acquisition or cost per conversion. And so again, those aren't high ticket items, but yet they're able to do it, repeatedly, reliably and repeatedly using YouTube as a traffic source, which is paid ads. So again, I don't know where you saw that. I totally disagree with that statement. Anybody else?
No, I totally agree with you, man. Yeah. You can use ads to complement your SEO. They're not mutually exclusive at all. Google wants you to think that they are, and that you don't get an SEO benefit from ads, but that's bullshit too. Okay, so there might not be a cause and effect relationship between ads and rankings. It could be some other kind of relationship, but when you start seeing it over and over and over and over again, then yeah, it's there, man. It's there.
Yeah. So Social Buzz Me, that's Wayne. Wayne says, Bradley, going back through syndication training, so Syndication Academy. You mentioned you had over 300 sites in your property. You said you were having issues with Google killing your sites in the network. Curious, do you still have any networks and are you still building and maintaining? Okay, so you must be talking about, and that was many years ago when I was doing a lot of video SEO for a local video production company. So I would wholesale video SEO services to the local video production company, and they would sell it retail to their video customers. So in other words, you know, before I came along, they were just selling one-off videos. Maybe occasionally they'd get a repeat buyer, but they didn't have recurring revenue. And I pitched this company on selling them wholesale SEO services that they could then retail to their, you know, mark up and retail to their video customers, and that would create recurring revenue. And I don't do that anymore. And the only reason I don't do that anymore, I mean, I still do video services for that same client, but I'm using Google Ads now for YouTube, Google Ads for video, to achieve the results that I used to achieve through video SEO, because it's a hell of a lot easier. And I don't have to worry about maintaining hundreds and hundreds of syndication sites like I did in the past. I don't have to worry about any of that crap at all. I just set up paid ads and from relevant audiences, from relevant geographic, area, and I'm able to achieve better results, better reporting, everything using Google Ads for video. So at the time that I was doing all that video SEO stuff, I would, I had in particular I had multiple video syndication networks, but, and I would say like great, big, massive networks. But the biggest one that I had, God, I think at one point I had over 30 ifttt rings, which would end up being something like over 600 properties, Web 2.0 properties. And then there was even when we started with SERP, when we formed SERP Space many years ago, we started developing a video distribution for the, what did we call that? Video Powerhouse, I think is what we called it at the time. But it was
a monster, man.
It was a video embed network, a video and or maps embed network. But at the time, I think it was strictly for videos. Mm-hmm. And we built out a whole bunch of like PBN sites, so self-hosted domains, and each one of them got a syndication network around it. And then we would embed the video to the self-hosted site or the network of sites, and each one of the sites would then syndicate through ifttt or the syndication network to all of the Web 2s, and that was massive. But yeah, I mean, again, that's stuff I don't deal with anymore because I just use YouTube ads for all that now, and it's a hell of a lot easier and a lot easier to maintain. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so the next question was, and I'll come back to Will's. He says, number 2, do you still build networks around your syndication sites? Well, I mean, no, not really, because again, I would mainly build these multi-tiered networks for video syndication, not for content syndication, like blog syndication. Because, and I've talked about this many, many times, it's covered in the ifttt training or the Syndication Academy training. But when you have multiple tiered networks for blog syndication, that creates footprint issues. There are ways to minimize the footprint, but you can never eliminate it entirely. And that's by using, adding applets with related or relevant RSS feed triggers from other sources. That kind of helps to, mix your content in with other relevant related content from other sources. But again, that becomes a bitch to maintain as well, especially the more tiers you add, the more of a pain in the ass it becomes to maintain. So again, I really don't do that anymore. That was only for video syndication networks that I would do that, not for blog syndication. And so for blog syndication now, I pretty much stick with just tier 1 branded networks and then just power those up significantly. Good question though. Will says, Merry Christmas, guys. I hope you are all doing well. Thank you for all that you do for this community. You're welcome, Will. Thank you for showing up. Link for the charity webinars. I believe that was posted already. Thank you. Wayne says, we got to wrap it up here in a couple of minutes. Wayne says, don't believe it matters so much based on the list, but why aren't they including any SCM or semantic mastery OGs and the most influential SEOs of 2020 from the Page Optimizer Pro? Yeah, I saw that article, actually. That's okay. My feelings aren't hurt. But thanks, Wayne.
Yeah, I didn't even know what went down. I'm not an influential SEO. I'm just a guy who ranks shit. Wayne, I don't live off people's praise. It doesn't do anything for what I do. Let them have their moment in the sun, man. It's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not looking for recognition on that front either. I don't care. I mean, it's cool because I actually looked at that, and that's that article, and that's good for all of those guys. Congratulations to all those that are on that list.
Fantastic. They're probably really good at what they do.
Wayne says, personally, I think you guys are in a different league altogether. Well, thanks, Wayne. Appreciate that. BB says, will you make a course SM style for making money through paid ads, Google search, display, native, Facebook, Instagram, mobile ads, etc.? The best methods with minimal budget and also scaling it. I'm actually working on a big project now for Semantic Mastery for the Mastermind, which is going very extensively into Google Ads for display network, YouTube, and call ads. Not so much search ads. Well, call ads are search ads, but they're slightly different. And also soon I'm going to also be working on what's called discovery ads, but those are all in the Google Ads network. I don't do any advertising outside of Google Ads. Every time I've attempted to try to do Facebook ads, I failed miserably at them. And to be honest with you, I have no desire to do that. Hernan teaches Facebook ads. As far as all the other ad platforms, no, absolutely not. At least that's not anywhere in the near future, because all I use is Google Ads. And again, that training I am doing specifically for local lead gen. And that's going to be something that we're going to be releasing sometime next year, probably middle of 2021, because I'm working on a very, very big project right now for me, but will also become a training program for the mastermind. So, okay, we got to wrap it up, guys. Sorry we didn't get to everybody. It was close, but we damn near got them all, but it's 5 o'clock. We got to go.
Post your question again for next week. First come, first serve.
Don't forget, guys, donate to Marco's charity if you can. And Marco, I already forgot if you mentioned it, but what date will the webinars be starting? So, like, when should
we haven't set the dates yet. That's why just send proof of donation, and we'll take care of you. My VA will make sure that you get the link to sign up for the notifications and for everything that's coming.
Cool. And where should they send the proof and notification to?
Oh, I'm sorry, I'll write the email.
All right, cool. Well, it'll be on the page, and if you're watching, you can come back and head over or just go to semanticmastery.com/HD questions and get it there.
And I feel like a dick for missing my Christmas hat.
You should.
Yay.
See you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Later, man.